Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix is brought to you by AC by J, Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Drains.
Coming right up, another fun Varsity Sports Show.
Chris Scott of RE/MAX is Central Oregon's best realtor for anyone thinking of a vacation home or relocation. He's our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, it's Dylan.
Hi, kids. This is DJ Soulman from the Funk Junkies, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show with my man Vince Delisio. And what's your last name?
It's Delisio.
Okay, that's right. That's what I thought. Yeah, right.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating a platform to promote young people in extracurricular activities and community outreach. If you are interested in partnering up with the Varsity Sports Show, find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or call or text us at 480-779-9437. The Varsity Sports Show, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you. The Let It Fly Football Drills and Skills Camp is intense and rigorous, designed to improve skill levels for kids ages 7 to 14. Drills target hand and eye coordination, footwork, speed, agility, and quickness. Instruction from current and former professional and college athletes. Go to letitflyfootballcamp.com for more information. The Let It Fly Football Drills and Skills Camp is a proud sponsor of the Varsity Sports Show's IFL report with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston.
KDUS AM 1060 Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix is brought to you by AC by J, Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Drains.
This program is paid for by the JV Sports LLC and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show here at AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. Vince Delisio here, joining you live from Hubbard Studios in East Phoenix, right at the foot of the Papagos. And what a beautiful morning. Thank you so much for joining us from Santan and Florence out to west to El Mirage and Tonopah, north Flagstaff to Douglas. What an incredible opportunity and platform that we have here at the Varsity Sports Show. Thank you again, and we appreciate it. We don't take this opportunity lightly, and joined in studio today by one of our broadcast team members, Mr. Connor Bonfilio. Connor, how are you, sir?
Doing wonderful, Vince. How are you?
I'm great. We're going to get to talking to you a little bit and finding out what you've been up to. And, of course, Connor is one of our amazing broadcast staff and lead basketball analyst. So we're going to get some insight from Connor and some projects he's been working on and find out a little bit more about what he's been doing lately. So, folks, it's like I said, it's a beautiful morning here in the Metro Phoenix area. Those of you listening out of state, I know you guys are jealous where we are, and I'm sure it's beautiful where you are as well, but I can't imagine living anywhere else. So today's show, wonderful show today. I am really excited to present all that we have to present to you today. It's aside from working with this amazing guy in studio here, Connor, and our producer behind the glass, best in the business, Aaron Decker. We've got a lot of things going on today. Let's go through some of the amazing things we have. So we're going to be joined by our local fitness guru for Weekly Wellness, Mr. Tyler Mayer. We will have some things going on with Tyler. Tyler's going to talk to us about functional fitness today. We've got the SaberCat Baseball Report. Coach Joe Mickey, get a recap of the week for Saguaro Baseball. We have another edition of the Recruiting Spotlight going to be featuring a couple of young men today, Mr. Aguilar and Mr. Kyle Schumann. You guys can hear me flipping through my pages here. Kyle Schumann and our very own Nick Hogan will be presenting that, sponsored by My Recruits. And Coach Ryan Dyer, Desert Mountain Baseball, will be joining us as well. We'll have an interview presented by Sam Valenti, of the owner of Duke City, the arena football team. They suffered a loss last week to the Arizona Rattlers. Rattlers came out and really put on they rained points all game long. That's about the best way I could put it, but quite a game. We'll be joined by Isaiah Houston, and the Arizona Rattlers extraordinaire wide receiver, kick returner, punt returner, running back, does everything for them. And Isaiah's a great guy. Then we've got our It's Dylan report with my old friend Dylan Weinmiller, sponsored by Chris Scott Remax out in Bend, Oregon. You folks listening up in the Northwest, thank you so much. The Oregonians up there listening in. We will have a report from our very own Aviana Hoppus on Westwood Baseball, and an old teammate of mine who's the coach out there, J.R. Langston. I called him Justin back then, but J.R. Langston is the head baseball coach at Westwood. He actually was a pretty darn good linebacker out of Mesa High School years back, and played at Scottsdale Community College, one of my teammates out there, and then played a linebacker out at Arizona State, graduated after the 95 season. We'll be joined by Thomas DeCesaro, scholar athlete, multi-sport athlete from Saguaro High School, the SaberCats. He's a pretty darn good pitcher, and arguably the best free safety in Arizona this season for the Open Division champions. We've got another couple of features from our amazing staff going on that we'll talk about as the morning goes on. And, of course, we will wrap things up with the Beachin' with Beal Southern California Surf Report. 2 weeks ago, we had my old friend Mike Beal on, and he was actually reporting from Phoenix. Didn't tell me he was coming to town, but he's had 2 weeks to prep and give us a legitimate surfing report. He promised to be back at the beach this week, so we will see where he is. He lives in Costa Mesa, and oftentimes will be surfing out at Huntington Beach near the pier there, and just kind of checking out the scene and acting a little creepy along the way. So we'll be joined by Mike. Anyway, let's get back. Connor, I want to talk to you a little bit about what you've been up to. So what have you been up to?
Yeah, a lot's been going on. Semester's progressing. As you know, I'm a master's student at Arizona State. I'm in the Cronkite School of Journalism. I'm in the sports journalism cohort specifically. We were doing a lot of basketball early on. I think I got to call one of the best games, if not the best high school game I've ever seen, in Gilbert-McClintock in the playoffs in a packed gym.
Yeah.
McClintock almost came back from down 20 at half.
Wow.
Forced OT. The atmosphere was electric. It was kind of a hybrid broadcast. I was calling it for radio, but we had a single cam stream, and I was losing my mind. I mean, you can watch the video.
It was fun.
Online.
I was getting nervous for you. We were getting ready to call 911. I mean, you just and it was funny because the camera was fixed on you the whole game. We had and the reason why we did that is because first of all, there are some rules around broadcasts that if a game late in the postseason, semifinal, final game is not assigned to us specific, then the only thing we can do is we can present an audio broadcast, but we can have a fixed camera. And in this case, the camera was fixed on you. I don't know if you were comfortable with that, but we did that. So,
yeah.
Wow.
And it was fine. I was comfortable with it. It was just about engagement, right? So I would call the game kind of looking at the court and then do like a little 90-degree turn and give them a little synopsis of what I just saw. And by the fourth, I mean, I was sweating and screaming and – right, I mean, rightfully so. It was one of the best games I've ever seen.
Wow. So. And then Gilbert came away with the win with that, right?
They did, yeah.
Okay, man. Wow. Okay, amazing. I wish I would have been there, but I'm glad we were there and we had you reporting on it to at least give us that summary. You were in Mexico.
I was,
It
yes.
was spring break.
Yeah, yes, sir. So
Okay, is there anything you could talk about on the broadcast?
Oh
here?
yeah, we'll
okay.
keep it PG. I mean, I was there for one of my friends' weddings.
Okay.
It was a marriage of two of my friends from undergrad. I went to the University of Colorado Boulder.
Yeah, you were
for my undergrad, so Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah.
We were in San Jose del Cabo.
Okay.
So you fly into SJD and then drive a little bit south. So we're a little north of Cabo San Lucas.
Okay.
We stayed at Cabo Azul Resort, and it was spectacular.
Okay.
The wedding venue was at Acre Baja, which is kind of a jungly forest vibe, about 25 minutes kind of into the foliage.
Wow.
And it was just spectacular. I mean, there were peacocks just walking around at the venue. Trees everywhere, sunlight just glistening through the trees. I mean, it was stunning. I don't want to sound biased, but they truly did everything right. It was one of those weddings where it's just a storybook ending, and it was magical from start to finish. So.
Did you cry?
Oh yeah, big time. And okay. Chris and Claire, they're definitely not listening, but shout out to them. They're in Fiji right now for their honeymoon.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so they're definitely not listening. But it was one of those moments where I didn't think I would. Like we were close, but not insanely close. But when they started reading their vows to each other, Vince, I tell you what. The waterworks they were flowing, man. I wasn't ready for that.
So you're a sensitive guy. That's nice to see. So you don't see that much anymore. But anyway, okay, well, wonderful. That's exciting. And now you're back. We've got another month and a half of the semester. What do you got going on?
Yeah, so obviously we're transitioning into spring sports. I'm working with one of the Canyon View softball players. She's a stud. Her name's Taylor Jacobs.
Oh, my gosh.
She's a pitcher, as you know, multi-sport athlete. She played for the basketball team as well, and they were a wagon in their own right. But Taylor Jacobs and company for Canyon View softball is kind of what we're shifting to. They're 10-3 to start the year so far. They won their first league game in 5A Desert West. They actually won 2 days ago against Sunrise Mountain. So that's kind of what we're transitioning into. And it isn't just Jacobs. I mean, they have a phenomenal team. The Groshong sisters are also an incredible Titan twosome. Savannah Groshong is batting .571.
Wow.
So
holy
smokes. They got some beasts out there in Waddell. So that's kind of what we're focusing on coverage-wise, and then doing a little bit of spring golf too. So as you know, I'm a big golf guy. I played at CU, and there's one division that plays in the spring, and it's 3A. So a lot of the Scottsdale teams, Phoenix Country Day, Phoenix Christian, Scottsdale Prep, et cetera. So those are the two things that we're focusing on.
Well, I have to tell you, last night, so we had the broadcast out at Canyon View last night, and they hosted Millennium, and Nick Hogan was on the call with with Alyssa Munoz, and 10-1, they won that game, but Canyon View came away with the victory. So Coach John Jacobs, I don't know, whatever's in the water out there, he's they're getting it done. And athletic director Andrea Hudson, it is just a machine. And when I was a kid, I grew up here in Phoenix in the mid-'70s. We used to pack, that'll tell you how old I am, but we used to pack into my parents. We had a VW bus before they were fashionable, and we'd pack into that thing, and we'd drive out into, Waddell North into where Luke Air Force Base is out there and Litchfield, and we'd pick grapes. And, on 4th of July, we'd pick grapes, and you could buy them. You'd pick them, and then they'd weigh them, and you'd buy them there instead of getting them from the grocery store, and we'd go home and that was how we spent our summers. And now it's like houses and schools and everything else out there. It's just it's amazing. So congratulations to all the success and everything that's going on in the Far West Valley. I refer to it as Far West Valley, although there is stuff further west now. But having grown up in Central Phoenix, it's just exploded to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. So anyway, but yeah, amazing report and everything that is going on out there. NC2As, any surprises? I've been hearing about this St. Peter's school.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So yesterday was National Peacock Day, and that was a big day for St. Peter's. They played the 3-seed Purdue.
We're gonna break. We've got the recruiting spotlight. Let's go to that. Aaron, take it away.
It's time for the recruiting spotlight, sponsored by My Recruits and Coach Perot.
Hello everybody, my name is Nick Hogan and today we are featuring another athlete. This time it's Christian Aguilar out of Mountain Ridge High School. He's going to graduate with the class of 2023, so not this spring but the next one. He plays outside linebacker, stands at 6 foot 1.5 inches tall, weighs in at 200 pounds, and he is coming off a pretty fantastic season where he racked up 30 tackles for loss, and that really put a lot of eyeballs on Aguilar's tape. He's currently being looked at by U of A and Arizona State. So those are two schools where, if you're familiar with the Arizona area, those are the two biggest schools by far in this part of the country. So that's a fantastic place for him to be at while he still has a whole another year of high school eligibility. So really those offers can only go up from there. But according to Coach Perone, there's no question that Aguilar is one of the top linebackers in the state. He's the perfect combination of size, speed, and skill. So Coach Perone really has no doubt that this guy's going to be a D1 player. And he also really wanted to note how physical he is. When he makes a tackle, he really makes sure you know it's him. And when you watch the film, you really can tell where he is at all times through that physicality he plays with. And so speaking of that film study, from my personal film study watching him this week, the physicality pops out, but also his vision. He has a great first step and plays downhill, like we've already mentioned, really physical. But that vision allows him to be in the positions where he can even be physical and make those big plays. Without his vision, he wouldn't even be in those situations. That vision also allows him to make some pretty big tackles outside of the box. He's a good open field tackler, which is a big deal at the college level, not only the high school level, because the athletes only get better and better and better. And so the more athletic guys you can tackle one-on-one, that's something that's going to be super attractive to those college recruiters. And really, he's not scared to take on any of these challenges, specifically filling gaps, taking on big pulling linemen. He'll go in there, hit him in the ribs, do the dirty work that he needs to do to make those big plays. And no, he's not the biggest linebacker in the world at 6 foot 1.5, 200 pounds. He's not. But where he does make up for that is in his pass coverage. He's quicker than a lot of other linebackers, especially with his shuffles, the way he moves. Maybe fast isn't the best word, but quick. He's a very, very quick electric player where when he's in pass coverage, where it's zone or man, he's able to lock up some guys who are a little bit smaller than him, where a lot of linebackers, that's the hard part. Yeah, they can make big plays in the box, but as soon as the game gets spread out, they're a little bit of a liability. But with that said, there it is. That's why he's a D1 prospect, no questions about it.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m.
This is just something I like to call breakfast.
With big-name guests, timely sports information, and more on KTUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to present the Thursday and Saturday night high school football games of the week. Tune in this fall for exciting high school football action. You'll enjoy seeing all of your favorite schools battling it out all season long. Coaches, administrators, boosters, and fans, partner up with the Varsity team to broadcast your games this fall. Choose from Thursday or Saturday night and have an exclusive audience on a big stage. Call or text us at 480-797-9437 right away and join our team. High school football action on Thursdays and Saturday nights this fall, brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show. Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675.
Pinnacle Pain and Spine's team of professionals are ready to help with that nagging head, neck, back pain, and arthritis with proven treatment as soon as your first visit. Dr. Matthew Crooks and his friendly team have the highest consumer ratings in trust, friendliness, and easy scheduling. They work with most insurance plans. With locations in Scottsdale, Chandler, and Fountain Hills, PinnaclePainAZ.com or call 480-407-6400. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Show and Fitness Minute with Tyler Mayer.
My name is Sherry Miller, and I am calling because I watch your broadcast of Canyon View every Friday night because my grandson in Arizona plays for them. And I just want to tell you how impressed I am by the young man who does the, I guess you would call it play-by-play. He's very excited. He's very cute.
KDUS AM 1060 is the home to the Dan Patrick Show, the Doug Gottlieb Show, and Sports Map Radio. Catch all the sports content here on AM 1060.
Weekly Wellness. Activate lifestyle and performance coaching with local fitness and nutrition experts Tyler and Jen Mayer on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. Weekly Wellness and our little, we tend to, me, when I say we, I mean me. I don't know about you, Connor. You look to be, you're a lot more fit than I am for sure. I tend to get a little lazy with my eating habits, but I get some solace in talking to Tyler on the weekends here, and it makes me feel a little bit better about myself. Tyler, are you there?
Vince, I'm here, man. I am here. I tell you, you bring a smile to my face, man, every Saturday. Good stuff.
All right. So we have you on. You and Jen alternate weeks, and Jen talks about nutrition. You talk about fitness. And so this week you wanted to focus on functional fitness. Talk to us about functional fitness.
Well, I tell you, what a package deal you got with the two of us.
Yeah, man.
Stuff. Hey, and I wanted to just mention, too, I mean, you kind of were talking about peacocks, and, boy, no doubt St. Peter's. I think the peacocks might all be visiting Fiji in celebration of their basketball success this year. So well done. Way to tie that into National Peacock Day. Wow, how about that?
There's a National Peacock Day?
Isn't that what he said? Isn't
Yeah.
that what he said yesterday was?
Yes. So yesterday, that's what I was saying. Yesterday is National Peacock Day, and St. Peter's is the peacock. So it was destined for them to win.
Oh, okay.
Destined, absolutely. Well, hey, I tell you what, you guys, thanks again for having me on. Good morning, listeners. Last time we spoke, I was out in San Diego. Jen spoke from here last week, and I'm in the Active 8 garage gym, pacing and writing programs on the whiteboard. And, we talked about specificity of training, utilizing training programs, drills, and movements specific to our sports. Jen spoke about specific nutrition things. Vince, we talked about that Brazilian nut to help reduce cholesterol levels. Today, we want to look and talk about functionality and how we can mimic movements of everyday life. We call those the ADLs, activities of daily living. So one thing with functional fitness, it's all about the synergistic movement pattern and prepare our body for daily tasks. The movements we do at home, the movements we do around the office, and of course can relate to any sport specific as well. Now, probably one of the buzziest of functional of fitness words has been functional fitness over the years. Functional training helps build our strength, our power, our mobility. Now, why does this matter? Because once we have functional fitness, it puts less strain on our muscles, tendons, ligaments, and joints. Anybody out there want that? Yeah, absolutely. So, I believe, something that I've coached for years, I firmly believe that getting someone to move pain-free is a great impact on one's mental and overall health. We've all had bumps, bruises, nicks, pains, and it doesn't feel good, okay? Things we do. Anybody else out there have the weeds shooting up through the rocks in our yards like crazy lately? We're out there pulling those weeds. That's one of the 7 components I'm going to address here real quick. Now, from a functional perspective, most gyms have 2 problems. So listen up, gym goers. I'm glad you're going there. But listen, most gym programs train individual muscle groups. We have bicep day. We have leg day. We have chest day, okay? Now, those are vanity. I talk about vanity programs. Those are just, the beach, beaching with Beal. He's got, I don't know. Does he have those biceps?
No.
We'll have to ask him later.
He
Okay,
doesn't.
Good. Thank you. And then typically they only occur in one plane of motion. Let's talk about the planes of motion. We have a sagittal plane, which is our body moving forward and backward. We have a frontal plane. Think about keeping things in front of us so we move side to side laterally. And then we have our transverse plane, which is our rotational plane. That is where most injuries happen as well. That rotation, golfers, racket sports players. Again, I talk to my golfers all the time. We just go up to the first tee, tee something up, and try to hit it excessively hard. And we haven't trained our body from that transverse rotational plane. So, again, a functional fitness program should favor free weights, works muscles through their full range of motion, and incorporate core stability and working through instability. So we've addressed it several times before. We talk about 150 minutes a week, 21 to 23 minutes a day of exercise. Listen to these 7 functional components, everybody, and then it's pretty much we can put a program together off these 7 exercises. We have a squat. Vince, we squat every single day. We're sitting down, we're standing up. Other daily functions that happen throughout the day. We talk about a lunge. A lunge is walking. A lunge is climbing stairs. A lunge is leaning forward to grab something off the floor. We talk about a bend or a hip hinge. We've talked about hinging before, picking up something off the floor, placing something up overhead. We go into a push or press, okay? And a lot of clients I work with on the older side, we talk about all these functional components all the time. If they trip, if they fall, are they able to push themselves and get themselves up off the floor, which is a push into a lunge and then up into a squat. The other component is a pull or a row. You know, if we're bending over, picking something up off the floor, pulling it in closer to the body. And then the last 2 big ones, we talked about that rotation and core, and that is simply moving something from one side of the body up and over. Those of us traveling, getting up and over into the luggage compartment, bringing it back down safely, and again, incorporating the entire body of core stability, and again, all the muscles working together to perform a task. And then, of course, simple, basic locomotion. You know, we're out there walking, we're watching our gait pattern, and again, specific to what somebody wants to do, but I have individuals who simply are recovering, who want to walk better, so we focus on walking while incorporating these other 6 components as well. So, you know, without all 7 functional components working together, we're less than optimal. Again, we think about efficiency, we think about optimal performance. So finding a way to incorporate these progressions and start living your best life. Now, each one of these 7 components, of course, has a progression. We don't want to regress, but again, a squat is a squat. We talk about basic form, basic foundation, and then we can add some resistance, and then we can add a kettlebell, and then we can add a medicine ball. Lunging, we talk about proper form, 90-90. We talk about 90 degrees, front leg, back leg. Hip hinging, how we talk about.
Hey, Tyler, quick question for you, Tyler.
Yeah,
actually, Connor has a quick question. He's itching to ask you something. Go ahead, Connor.
Perfect.
Tyler, Connor here. As soon as you started talking about golf, I started sweating from excitement from this. I need you to help fix my swing. You know, I'm not the young and limber guy I once was. You know, I can still hit it, but
sure.
You're like 24 years old. What are you talking
25,
about?
going
25.
on 26, man. And it only gets worse.
Well, you know what? It only gets worse if we allow it to get worse, and that's what that's really the knowledge drop out there. You know, we all just kind of succumb to this aging thing, and we can take steps every day to help us stay. I mean, Jenna will probably kick me for saying this. I mean, I'm not too far away from 50, and I'm telling you, I mean, my body still feels like, because of these little steps we take every day, I feel like I could still go up there, lace them up, and play some pretty competitive soccer. But don't give into it. We have to do these things as often as we can. And again, I'm not a golfer, so I don't teach somebody how to golf. But yeah, from a mobility standpoint, from integration of the golf swing, we talk about opening the chest. We talk about having stability and mobility. You know, can we stabilize, you know, through the core, but then can we have mobility through those hips as well? And most golfers don't understand how to disassociate the upper body from the lower body, and how we need to incorporate hip drive and not make the golf swing all about the arms.
So,
okay, and that's really what where it comes down to.
So Tyler, in our final minute here, how can you sum up the best way to attack this on a daily basis for regular, well, even people that are a little below average in physical ability like myself?
Well, I'll tell you, and that's a great question, because every person, every body I work with, that Jen works with, we treat like an athlete. And if we take these 7 components of functional fitness, a squat, a lunge, a hinge, a push, a pull, a rotation, and simple gait patterns, if you would run through those 2 to 3 times, that's your 21 minutes of daily activity. Say we do a time 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. We talked about that before. And then progress with resistance, whether that's bands, kettlebells, dumbbells, those 7 components. And again, try to integrate as many muscle groups as possible in all of your movement patterns, and doing with precise form to prevent injury.
All right.
So, Vince, next
yes, sir.
I'm going to tee this up. So we're going to talk about clean blood, healthy body with Jen, okay?
Okay.
Pretty awesome.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you, Tyler. Weekly Wellness, Tyler Mayer.
Keep moving.
Keep moving. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks,
guys, when we come back, Saguaro SaberCat Baseball Coach Joe Mickey will be back after the break here on the Varsity Sports Show. Thank you so much, Tyler.
Catch the Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and online at KDUS1060.com.
Are you unable to do the things you love? Do you know your daily habits could be better to enhance your quality of life? Are you suffering with chronic pain or chronic illness and can't find the right solution that works for you? Fix Body Group was created so you have a team of professionals to help you achieve your health goals and get you back to doing what you love again. In Scottsdale, go to fixbodygroup.com or call 480-795-5329. Fix Body Group, proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show and Fitness Minute with Tyler Mayer.
Training Better Athletes was founded by renowned football coach Ron Sowers with the philosophy of training well-rounded young people in mind and body. TBA is the go-to for middle schoolers through the pros. Coach Sowers has worked with all sports but specializes in football offensive and defensive line skills training. Whether it's one-on-one or group training, reach out to Coach Sowers at trainingbetterAthletes.com or call him at 602-435-9064. You can't cheat the grind.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner with SaberCat Athletics. That's right, the Scottsdale Saguaro SaberCats are on the Varsity Sports Show. Join the varsity team as we cover the Cats during the SaberCat Report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, featuring players, coaches, and commentary. Look out for live stream coverage of Saguaro SaberCat sporting events by going to YouTube and searching for Varsity Sports Show, then click that subscribe button to stay up to date. The Saguaro SaberCats are here.
Interact with Bob Kim's poll question on KDUS1060.com. That's KDUS1060.com. And while you're there, check out Bob Kent's bottom line at KDUS1060.com.
The Varsity Sports Show presents the SaberCat Report with Saguaro High School baseball coach Joe Mickey. And now, here's the SaberCat Report.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. And it's time for the SaberCat Report. Saguaro SaberCats Saguaro High School SaberCats. Joe Mickey, the head baseball coach out there. Coach Mickey, a little bit of an up and down week for you this week. How could you, if you were to put a one sentence or one word, how would you summarize this week? Putting you on the spot. Baseball. There you go. Okay.
I mean, it was. When we take it in perspective, you win the week, you go 2-1 on the week, and our region, we talked about it last year, Vince, and you're playing the 4A defending state champs, and you had, we were able to take care of business early in the week, and you knew they were going to come out with their best shot and on their home turf, and they kind of did their job yesterday, and so. The perspective of it is we did our job at home, and we were trying, we always got to get greedy a little bit there, and you want to sweep the week. But 2-1, and we played great baseball this week, and it was a tough end of the week, but that's kind of what baseball is. You know, nobody ever goes undefeated in this thing, you know, and so you have to kind of keep it in perspective that they had a better day at the plate than we did, and that's what we get back to work today, trying to get better for the next week ahead.
Now, I know that that in any sport, there's a lot of preparation that goes into, you know, getting ready for that game. A lot of prep time, film study, whatnot. My father-in-law, who coached many, many years, coached baseball, coached basketball for many years, he used to tell me that baseball was basically a game of two guys playing catch and a bunch of people watching all the way around. But I think there's more to it than that. He tried to break it down pretty easily. So you guys go out on Tuesday. It was you beat the defending state champs on your turf. You had an away game, another home game, Paradise Honors, and then you come back and you play those defending state champs once again on their turf. How do you think they prepped for yesterday's game? What did they concentrate on in that preparation?
I think that their at bats were really grinding at bats. The balls that they put in play yesterday were just finding holes. They're a good hitting team, and look, in the season, I think it's a compliments to our pitching staff who's pitched really well. When they saw DeCesaro on Tuesday, we pretty much had them off balance a little bit, kind of working backwards. I think they were a little more prepared for what they were going to see on Friday in Caminiti, and they had some great at bats against them, and that's hats off to them. And Jeff Holland does a great job over there, and that's why they're the defending state champs. Is they just have great ABs. We've known that. We see them so many times with our region play. But I thought that their at bats were just a little bit more on point at their place, and we had our chances early in that game. We have a couple situations that the balls just didn't fall for us. We put great swings on. Even Miles Crutchley and Aiden Bronska put great swings on, and we just didn't get rewarded for them. In those situations, and when they had their opportunities, they had a couple balls fall, and next thing you know, we're down two, and instead of feeling like we were in the driver's seat.
Coach Connor here, you struggled kind of in the beginning of the year, dropping 4 of your first 5, but you really bounced back 3 in a row in the month of March. You guys are going to see ALA Queen Creek, twice this coming week. What's it going to take to get it done against those guys?
No, great perspective points right there, Connor. I tell you what, I think we just have to keep playing our good baseball. Our pitching and defense has been outstanding this year, a lot farther along than we expected. And look, our strength of schedule is as hard as anybody's in the state, and I love that. And it prepares our guys for these types of runs. And you hope, if we're doing our job, we're growing through the process of not necessarily the outcome early. It's about just kind of feeling ourselves, finding our groove, and maturing. And so we have to kind of keep our same philosophy as far as wanting to be aggressive and not take our foot off the gas, and know that we're doing things right. And you do just have those days where the ball just isn't going to go your way. But with ALA, we've got to keep throwing it well, keep the game simple. To Vince's point, it is that simple. Sometimes it is just playing catch and making the routine plays and getting yourself into the dugout so you can go swing it and try to put up a couple crooked numbers.
So this coming week, Coach, you got a big week. You've got, 3 games coming up. So you kick it off Tuesday. You're hosting ALA Queen Creek, the Patriots. And then Wednesday, back at it out at Arcadia High School. And then Friday, you end the week once again back out at ALA Queen Creek. What can you give us in terms of a preview of each of those games?
Yeah, I mean, ALA is starting to find their legs a little bit. They had a couple big wins against Marcos Deniza, and again, our region beats each other up pretty good. But I think, when we see ALA, I think, player for player, I think we're in a good spot against those guys if we can just honestly put some good at-bats together and string some at-bats together. Keep the energy high. 3-game weeks start to kind of drain. We felt a little bit of that last week too, and you have to make sure you're just hydrating enough because it's getting hot. And as far as the ALA squad, I think that they're growing. They're a young team, and I think our experience should hopefully kind of showcase a little bit in those 2 games. In Arcadia, it's a rival game. It's Scottsdale School, and it's going to be a night game, and so it's kind of a fun, hump day type of game that we hopefully will be ready to get up for. But then again, that's 5A baseball, and we're going to hopefully answer the call there as far as just what we're capable of. And our lineup has been swinging the bats really well as of late, and you saw that in Paradise Honors. And even against Mesquite when we kind of were able to squeak one out late. And so, our approach in the box has been awesome. And I just hopefully the guys keep getting rewarded for it, because that keeps the buy-in high and keeps their belief going to what we're capable of.
Coach, you have a lot of really impressive seniors on your squad. Obviously, Thomas DeCesaro, multi-sport athlete, incredible local talent. Brody Carruthers as well. Miles Crutchley really carrying you through this season so far. How much is the senior leadership going to carry you throughout this season as we progress in baseball?
Oh, I love it. I hope it carries us through the finish line. Those guys, we didn't have Crutchley last year with injuries, not until late, and he worked his butt off to try to get back in the lineup towards our playoff run, and we felt that even against Eaton in the playoffs last year when he was able to come back. But yeah, he's picked up right where he left off, and that's been awesome. And Brody's kind of really just continued to be just that quiet, composed presence in wherever we need him, and especially on the mound. And DeCesaro and Bronska, I mean, these guys are just, as a coach who's had these guys for 3-4 years on the varsity level, it's kind of what you hope, right? It's kind of like, hey, it's your team, it's your, you get to take this, we call it our boat, right? You get to take the boat where we want to go, and they're doing that. And it's, as a coach, it's a pride moment because it's fun to watch these guys compete, and you just kind of make sure that you're just managing their emotions because you also know that it's the end of a 4-year run here, and that as a spring senior, you have a lot of things that start happening in life, whether it be college, whether it be graduation, whether it be jobs and certain things, so life starts to come at you pretty fast as a senior, and you just try to take that step back and keep it all in perspective. And I'm very appreciative of those senior leaders because even in our dugout, I'm going to name a few guys who just dugout energy. If you come to our games, you hear them. Mason Watson, Nick Nussbaum, even Colin Riff, who's going to come back to us from as a transfer, who's now eligible next week. We should see some guys who that just are great energy guys. But those senior leaders, you just appreciate it as a coach because they've given you so much to the program.
All right. Coach Joe Mickey, Saguaro SaberCats, head baseball coach with the SaberCat Report. Coach Mickey, good luck this week, and we'll circle back with you next Saturday morning.
Hey, I appreciate you guys as always. Thanks so much.
It's time for the Recruiting Spotlight, sponsored by My Recruits and Coach Perot.
Next, we're going to be featuring Kyle Schumann, staying at 6 foot 220 pounds. The linebacker from Archbishop Ryan High School has been gaining some pretty good traction back out east. So if you don't recognize his name and you're listening from Arizona, like the majority of our viewers, it's normal. You're probably not going to recognize his name just because he's from Philadelphia. That's where Archbishop Ryan High School is, out in Philly, out in Pennsylvania. He's going to graduate in the class of 2023. And so if you haven't heard of his name, that's fine, but you probably should learn his name because he has really, really grown into a pretty good player during his time at Archbishop Ryan. And really that started in the weight room for him. He has fantastic weight room numbers. He's already in the 1,000 club, and he's only at the high school level with still another year to develop and train. And he's doing a lot of work right now in the recruiting sector. He actually just finished up a visit to the University of Delaware, and he's planning to visit the University of Stony Brook this weekend in New York. So those are both really, really good schools to visit and be recruited from. And that should be a great place for him to start as he looks to collect even more offers within the year to play like we've been talking about. But according to Coach Perone, Coach Perone said the chance to watch Kyle develop over the past 2 years where he made a really big position transition. He was actually a quarterback, but transitioned to linebacker. And hey, there may not be two more different positions on the field unless you include being a kicker or a punter than quarterback and linebacker. Two different sides of the ball. You're doing two very different things. One time you're quarterback in the offense. Now he's quarterback in the defense playing linebacker. But Coach Perone says the transition's been pretty smooth and his size and speed have gradually increased. But his knowledge of the game is where he's going to be a standout. And from my film study, I really agree with Coach Perone. The transition really looks smooth. You wouldn't know that he hadn't been a lifetime player at the linebacker position. He really does a good job of making that an unknown unless he's told you or you know somebody who has told you, hey, he actually used to be a quarterback, but he looks like a linebacker. And the way he does that is he has a great motor. He plays from the snap to the whistle. I know that's super cliche, but that's what he does. He's always going. He's super relentless. His feet are always moving. his hands are always doing moves, chopping at the offensive lineman, doing whatever he can to get to the quarterback or the ball carrier. He doesn't give up on any plays. And that mental, intangible stuff is super, super important to these recruiters. And really, his physical skill set at 6 foot 220, he could play a position in the secondary maybe in college. Who knows? Really depends on the coaching staff and what they think they can do with him. His strong hands really help his pass rush. But overall, from a mental standpoint to an effort standpoint, it takes a lot to go from quarterback to linebacker. If he can do that, who says he can't play at the college level?
Every Monday night, check out Ray Adams as he hosts the Monday Night Golf and Lifestyle Show from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
Hello, this is Camelback High School head boys basketball coach Glenn Ellis, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show on KDUS AM 1060 Arizona.
Pinnacle Pain and Spine's team of professionals are ready to help with that nagging head, neck, back pain, and arthritis with proven treatment as soon as your first visit. Dr. Matthew Crooks and his friendly team have the highest consumer ratings in trust, friendliness, and easy scheduling. They work with most insurance plans. With locations in Scottsdale, Chandler, and Fountain Hills, pinnaclepainaz.com or call 480-407-6400. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Show and Fitness Minute with Tyler Mayer.
Welcome to the Jaguar Nation. The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner up with Canyon View High School in the West Valley to be the voice of Jaguar athletics. Tune in on Saturdays to hear the Jaguar Nation, featuring coaches, students, and staff between 9 and 10 a.m. on AM 1060 KDUS, and subscribe to the Varsity Sports Show YouTube channel to get free exclusive coverage of Canyon View sporting events. Welcome to the Jaguar Nation.
Jack it up.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner with Desert Mountain Baseball this spring to bring you the defending 5A state champs. That's right, keep on the lookout for Wolves baseball live streams on the Varsity Sports Show YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search Varsity Sports Show, then click that subscribe button. We'll be covering Wolves varsity, JV, and freshman baseball this spring. Join Wolves coach Ryan Dyer as he breaks down games for us. Saturday mornings between 8 and 10 on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
Catch the Sports Zone with Bob Kemp for local and national news, betting odds, and more. Weekdays from 9 to 11 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
It's Desert Mountain Wolves baseball with Coach Ryan Dyer on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. Vince DeLisio joined in studio by today's co-host, Connor Bonfilio. And also joined on the line, defending 5A state champion baseball coach of the Desert Mountain Wolves, Ryan Dyer. Coach Dyer, good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, Coach, question for you. So, you win the state title. You're basically at the top of the mountain, and people are gunning for you all year. How would you characterize how the season has been, just moving beyond records? You've had some guys that have really stood out this year.
Absolutely, and I think you said it best, that every day we show up to the ballpark, everybody that we play has a little bit extra adrenaline ready to play us, and that's kind of how it's been this year. Teams show up to play. They're good teams. We've seen top-line pitchers every day we've stepped on the field, and I'm really proud of where my young team is right now as far as getting ready for the core of our season.
Coach, Connor Bonfilio here. What's it like to have such a deep team? I mean, you have people contributing all over the field. Dylan Kratz, Adam Gorin stealing bases for you, Luke Moeller with 2 bombs, Quinn Robertson on the bump for you, 1.24 ERA. What's it like to be so stacked?
It feels good, I tell you. I mean, I've been on both sides of the coin, having done this as many years as I have, and definitely we have a deep bench. We have a lot of players that can step up different days and different spots in the lineup, and it feels good. The one thing that, as we talked about a lot this year, is the youth and it's kind of the first-time experience that a lot of these guys are having. So early in the season, we've gone through some growing pains, but guys are really starting to find their groove, and you hit it best. One day it could be Dylan Kratz, who just came off a hamstring injury. The next day it could be Adam Gorin, and then we've got our kind of the guys that we expect to be superstars, and Luke Moeller and Toby Harr, who have just stepped up big time as of late, and they're ready for the stretch run here.
Well, last week, Coach, you guys played in a tournament, so you faced some different teams to start the week. You started off with a team out of California, Quartz Hill, and then faced Basha, and then a team that looks like out of Arkansas. Style of play, how did things shake out in terms of what you saw?
Some Midwest baseball, so they were scrappy groups. They did a lot of drag bunts. They did a lot of push bunts. They would do double steal, triple steals. They did everything they could to keep us off balance. They came at us with a full frontal attack, and it was really good for us to see. It got us off our heels a little bit and reminded us that sometimes people are going to play overly aggressive baseball, and we got to be ready for it. So it was a real good week for us. We got an opportunity to get some of the even younger guys some experience, and got deep into our pitching staffs. The guys that are going to need to get some innings late in the year kind of had their first feet in the water time on the mounds at the varsity level, and it was a great experience. Obviously, we didn't win as many games as we wanted to during the tournament, but that ultimately was not our goal. Our goal was to get to last night versus Cactus Shadows in the huge region doubleheader that we had to make sure that we were ready to get 2 wins and 2 must-win situations, which ultimately we did.
Yeah, big wins last night out at Cactus Shadows. Great job. And I'm looking at the upcoming week here. You're facing Horizon, a couple of away games. You got Horizon, you got Kellis, and then you got an interesting one on Friday that we're carrying the broadcast on. You guys are playing out at Chase Field.
Yeah, we're going to be under the big lights in the big stadium against, arguably the best team in Arizona right now in Horizon. So, huge rivalry game. We set it up in the big stadium, and we expect a huge turnout for both sides. I know Horizon community is incredibly excited for that game because right now they're the best team in Arizona. So they've got a lot of excitement. They're going to be coming thinking they're going to get a big victory against the Wolves, and we're going to work hard to make sure we give them a good game.
Coach, speaking of Horizon, we just got off the phone with Joe Mickey at Saguaro, and they're playing ALA Queen Creek. Why can't I say that, Vince? Queen Creek twice in 1 week. And you guys are in a similar fashion playing Horizon twice in 1 week. And under the big lights, That's going to be an insane game. How do you keep your players in check and not let the bright lights get to them in a situation like that?
You do the opposite. You let the bright lights get to them. This is a big game. This is a big moment. So step up to it. You don't
Love
try
that.
to downplay it.
Wow.
And this is their moment.
Okay.
They're kids. Go be kids, right? Just have fun. Keep it in check. And again, we're the underdog this week. Horizon, I think, is the best team in 5A, and they're the team that we got to go show we can compete against. And we'll see where the chips fall at the end of this week. But again, I think Horizon's the team to beat. Coach Bo's doing a heck of a job over there with Horizon, and they got some of the best arms in town. They're so deep. So I'm excited for it. Again, this isn't a make or break week for us. We'll see what happens, but we're geared up to be the best team in May, and hopefully we can get a win or two this week. But if not, we're just going to keep on grinding.
I'll tell you what, we are excited to even be part of it. Friday we'll be out there, and when we set up the schedule with your Desert Mountain boosters and Howard Bergman, he said, "Yeah, we have a game out at Chase. Can you guys do that?" And I said, "Yes, we can. We sure will." It's going to be a lot of fun. Our very own Michael Garoffa is going to be on the call for that one, and we are just going to have a great time, and we appreciate being along for the ride with you guys. A great team, great people, top to bottom. I mean, it's amazing. The great teams usually consist of great people behind them also, and how can you characterize the people that support your program?
Oh, they're fantastic. We got some of the best parents in the communities of Arizona. You take they just work so hard for the kids and the best interest of everybody involved. And I feel very fortunate. I am where I want to be, and you can't do it without the parent support, and we definitely have it at Desert Mountain.
Well, sound like being where you want to be. It sounds like you got some screaming kids in the background there as well. So, do you have babysitting duties today?
No, I'm sorry. I got my 9U, my twin boys. They're getting ready for a huge 9U baseball game here against the other D-backs team, and
wow,
everybody's excited to get this one going.
I'll say it sounds like it, man. Coach, we're going to let you go, but thanks so much, and we look forward to circling back with you soon. Coach Ryan Dyer, Desert Mountain Baseball. Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it, guys. See you next week.
Hi there, everyone. I'm Sam Valenti, Arizona Rattlers and Indoor Football League beat reporter for the Varsity Sports Show. I'm honored to be joined today by the owner of the Duke City Gladiators out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, Gina Prieskorn-Thomas. Gina, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So what's the feeling like, as an owner with this season, just getting underway and stuff?
Well, it goes back to last season for us. Rocky start, switching of coaches and then getting to those playoffs. And, in the last 3 seconds, they said, go home. So, coming into this season, of course, our goal is to get, Kevin and Dixie. Those are our first 2 goals. And then, just to have a lot of fun and be really competitive and always improve our product.
What are some parts that you think your team needs to improve on this week facing the Frisco Fighters after the opening loss to the Rattlers?
Well, we're really excited about Jason Serta coming back, our linebacker. And I think him getting his timing down. Greg Dent, who's a dual player, back on the field, him getting his timing down. And so just, the few adjustments that need to be made to play the game. And then, of course, a lot of new faces out there. So it's hard to predict, what the play is going to be. So just adjusting to, basic timing and such. I think the guys, like I said, everybody, what I have learned is, no matter whether you're 1 year, a 2 year, or a 3 year, by the 4th game, everybody's a vet. So I think those adjustments get all made by that 4th game.
Definitely. Once again, I'm joined by Duke City Gladiators owner Gina Prieskorn-Thomas here on the Varsity Sports Show. I'm curious, what do you think makes the fan culture in Albuquerque unique and different from other IFL markets?
Well, I've traveled with my team. I mean, almost to every venue, trying to make sure that we're being competitive and that we're going with the league. And so, of course, there's nothing like the Snake Pit. I mean, nothing compares to the Snake Pit. Over there in Frisco, you guys bring a good draw to your arena. And in Albuquerque, we've been around since 15. And so having those fans, that people that come from Tucson, that come from Prescott, and that come from Arizona when you guys are out of town. So it's pretty cool.
What would you say is just your favorite part about getting to be the owner of an IFL team and getting to be the owner of Duke City?
Owning a team in Duke City, the biggest part for me is, is the community outreach. You see it all the time, Sam. We get to affect so many people with our team. We get to go to the schools. We get to do haircuts. We get to do, coats for kids, kicks for kids. We get to put smiles on a lot of people's faces out of the arena also.
Any final messages for any Gladiators fans who might be listening to this?
For our Duke City Gladiator fans, we plan to bring home a championship. We plan to win our home streak these next 4 games that we've got. I mean, we get to be at home for 4 games, rolling out a new field, rolling out new uniforms. We're super excited.
I could definitely see another championship in you guys' future.
Well,
Gina,
I gotta get past Kevin again, Sam. Okay, even if we end up in the damn playoffs, I gotta get past Kevin again. Okay, and KG ain't gonna let that happen lightly.
Gina, it has been an absolute pleasure getting to talk with you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we have been joined by Gina Prieskorn-Thomas, the owner of the IFL's Duke City Gladiators, here on the Varsity Sports Show. Just once again, thank you so much for coming on. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much, Sam. I appreciate you having me on. You have a good day and go Gladiators.
Nice job. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to set this up now so that our wonderful listeners and supporters know what's coming. We're going to be joined by Isaiah Houston, wide receiver extraordinaire of the Arizona Rattlers, and Sam Valenti, the beat writer from the Varsity Sports Show for the Arizona Rattlers. He is a big IFL Indoor Football League nut. He's a fanatic. He loves it, and he got his media credentials, so he has been any place media has access. Sam is there, so it'll be fun when we come back from the break. Stick around, folks. Join in studio Vince DeLisio here with Connor Bonfilio. Connor, we got 1 hour down, 1 to go.
Doing great. Keeping it pushing.
It's fun. All right, guys, join us. We'll be back. Go Varsity. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating a platform to promote young people in extracurricular activities and community outreach. If you are interested in partnering up with the Varsity Sports Show, find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or call or text us at 480-779-9437. The Varsity Sports Show, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hi, this is Joey McWilliams from Midwest Sportsnet. You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
Are you unable to do the things you love? Do you know your daily habits could be better to enhance your quality of life? Are you suffering with chronic pain or chronic illness and can't find the right solution that works for you? Fix Body Group was created so you have a team of professionals to help you achieve your health goals and get you back to doing what you love again. In Scottsdale, go to fixbodygroup.com or call 480-795-5329. Fix Body Group, proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show and Fitness Minute with Tyler Mayer. The Let It Fly Football Drills and Skills Camp is intense and rigorous, designed to improve skill levels for kids ages 7 to 14. Drills target hand and eye coordination, footwork, speed, agility, and quickness. Instruction from current and former professional and college athletes. Go to letitflyfootballcamp.com for more information. The Let It Fly Football Drills and Skills Camp is a proud sponsor of the Varsity Sports Show's IFL Report with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston.
KDUS AM 1060 Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix is brought to you by AC by J, Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Drains.
This program is paid for by the JV Sports LLC and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
It's time for Inside the Huddle with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. And it's time for Inside the Huddle with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston. And actually, I got a text from Isaiah saying, I can't call right now. I'm in meetings. They won't let me out. So Isaiah's in team meetings right now. But we're going to kick off the segment without him. And actually, we're going to be joined by our beat writer, Sam Valenti. Sam, good morning, sir.
Oh, good morning, Vince. Hey, it's always great to be talking with you, my man.
Yeah, you know what, Sam? I got to tell you, it's pretty cool because we got that media credential for you. From the Rattlers, and I'm joined in studio today by Connor Bonfilio, but you've been just going nuts out there and going everywhere media is allowed. Tell us about the vibe. First of all, you spent some time at practice, and then you went to the game last Saturday night. What was that like?
Well, I'll tell you, it was super fun, obviously, getting to be at the Footprint Center. You got to go to the press conferences, got to see the players up close, got to be in media row. It was pretty awesome.
Well, so tell us about the okay, so you went down to Media Row. You had an upfront and personal look at the team, the coaching staff interacting. What was it like? Give us more of an audio visual picture of the experience itself. First game of the season.
It was just such a cool experience getting to see these guys so close, getting to see Coach Kevin Guy, obviously. And then I thought it was just kind of cool to see the players before the game. They're not in this full-on mindset of ready to play football. They're just out there for a couple of minutes beforehand, having some fun. And that's what I love seeing. I love seeing that human aspect.
of the players.
Yeah. So your impressions of the team performance. I mean, they obviously came out with a big win over Duke City, 50-28, kicking things off. Some standout performances. Who were guys that stood out for you?
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you this. The Rattlers defense showed up in that second half. They shut out Duke City in the second. Duke City got absolutely no points, and that was great. I was also impressed by Drew Powell because even though he made some mistakes in the first half, he threw a couple interceptions. He really got things nailed down in that second half, and led the Rattlers to a big victory. So it was a really great night in Phoenix.
Sam, it's Connor here. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, Connor, great to be speaking with you, man. How are you doing? I'm doing good.
Doing wonderful. So I want you to describe to me the vibe and the differences between arena football and the NFL. I'll be the first to admit I don't know a lick about arena football other than the fact that it's played indoors. And I just want to know what's it like, the atmosphere, the crowd, the energy, the rules. How does that differ from an NFL game?
Oh, Connor, that is a fantastic question. I can say that both atmospheres can get pretty rowdy and intense, but I would say honestly, especially in the indoor game because it's so much more intimate. These NFL stadiums are so massive and stuff. And I mean, you have to get a lot more people, but honestly, there's nothing like when you're in a small arena, but then you pack so many people into there to watch a football game. And that's why and to anyone listening to this right now, I highly suggest get out to a Rattlers game this season because there is nothing like the experience of an indoor football game. The atmosphere is amazing, and it gets super intense.
Isaiah Houston, number 18. How did he do?
Okay. Well, honestly, Vince, that's kind of the unfortunate part is that, I was watching the game, and I did not see Isaiah out there a whole ton, but I will say this, a lot of the other Rattlers guys, especially in the receiver position, guys like Braxton Haley, Jamal Miles, he even had a Malik Williams coming out of the backfield. It really showed the depth of the Rattlers, but still, I can't wait to see what Isaiah does this season, even if he didn't really get to show all this stuff in the first game.
Yeah, they're definitely a deep squad. As small as the team is, they're deep at that position for sure. So they're out there battling it day in and day out. When you were out at practice last week, what was that like? I know we had talked a little bit about it, but give us a little bit more of a bird's eye perspective of what you saw.
Well, it was so cool just getting to see, like I said earlier, getting to see the players kind of out of that element of just being, at game day. It was so interesting to see the guys and they're just joking around, just appearing more human. I really loved watching the kicker Ernesto Lacayo practice his field goals because he's an absolute perfectionist at the position, and getting to see that up close was really cool.
I want to say hello to Isaiah's dad, Coach Mark Houston, who's on the line with us. Coach Houston, good morning, sir. Oh, he is not on the line right now. Okay, actually, he had called in and we lost him a little while ago. But anyway, Coach Houston obviously runs the Let It Fly football drills and skills camp. Great camp for skill development. It's staffed by college and pro football players and coaches, does a great job with that. Isaiah also has his own mini skills camp that he works with receivers out at Arizona Christian University every Wednesday afternoon. You can find Isaiah, just go on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Isaiah Houston. Last name is spelled Huston. Good stuff. And the next game, so Sam, next game, they are facing Monday out in San Diego against the Strike Force. What do you know about San Diego Strike Force?
Well, the Strike Force are not a bad team, but they did lose their last game, which I believe might have been their first game of the season. It was against the Bay Area Panthers, and the Panthers are one of the newest teams in the IFL. They're just starting out, so it's not really a good look to lose to a team that's just playing their first game. So my prediction would be that the Rattlers should beat San Diego, but as always, anything can happen in the IFL. So we'll see.
Sam, what's your plan? Are you going to be going out checking out any practices this week since Monday's game is an away game? They'll be back in town and then playing again. It looks like, boy, they'll be on the road the next couple of weeks, so we won't get a chance to see them here at home. You'll have to get out to practice.
Yeah, I definitely plan on getting out to practices because I mean the first practice I went to was so much fun. I just wanna keep on going, but I'll still be watching the game. Just having to watch them on the IFL's YouTube channel.
Sam, how I know this season is just starting, but what's the postseason prediction looking like for you with this team?
Do we need to ask that question? This guy's a Rattlers fanatic.
Well, I've been saying it even on my IFL Insider podcast that I kind of do independently. I really do think that this Rattlers team is going to win the championship this year. And I mean the Rattlers are always kind of an easy pick, but I really think this team is motivated after what happened last year, losing in the United Bowl. So I really think that this Rattlers team right here is going to be the one to bring that 7th championship to the desert.
Awesome. That was, and okay, let's ask this. If it's not Rattlers, who's like the next best out there?
The next best out there? Ooh, that's a very good question. So far this season, obviously the defending champions are the Massachusetts Pirates. They defeated the Frisco Fighters in Week 1. I believe they'll be back in action this week. But I would say another great team, a team that's 2-0 right now, is the Sioux Falls Storm. So be on the lookout for them. They're a very good team.
All right. Sam Valenti, broadcaster extraordinaire for the Varsity Sports Show and also the beat writer for the Arizona Rattlers. We got him that media credential, and he has been using every last bit of it, reporting, providing some interesting and exciting insight for the fans. So, Sam, great job, as always. We look forward to circling back with you next week. Keep up the good work, my friend.
Hey, thank you, Vince. Take care.
Benedictine University and Mesa girls basketball players Alana Pinder and Sharon Pressey have taken the challenges from the COVID season and are taking different paths after this season. Both have even also taken unprecedented ways to even get to practice. Without their own form of transportation, they had to get creative. Sharon comes from Italy, and she rides her bike about 6 miles from her home in Chandler to practice in downtown Mesa. She doesn't even think anything of it.
So I'm just used to it, so it's not a big deal.
Alana and Sharon have taken different viewpoints following their season impacted by COVID.
I just feel like move on to another chapter in my life, ready to start life, really.
Alana is ready to return home to Miami where her family is. She is hoping to help people by looking into becoming an EMT and following after her family members.
Well, most people in my family come from a line of healthcare and stuff like that, so I don't know, just being interested in helping people. And
Sharon's plans are more up in the air. She came to the United States to pursue an education in criminal justice and is waiting to see if she will get an internship with Interpol next summer.
I always wanted to study criminal justice, and in Italy there is not really like a degree for that, and here I had the opportunity to study what I wanted to study. Next year I'm going to apply and see if I get it, because if I apply right now it's going to be for this summer. The internship is between 6 months and 11 months, and I couldn't get back here.
Two very different reactions to their time here in Arizona. But that's what college has allowed these athletes to do, is pursue their dreams and put them ahead in ways other students might not be able to. In Mesa, with the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Nick Hall.
All right, so I probably should have set that one up. So Nick Hall is one of our technical directors, broadcasters, covers Northern Arizona, as well as some of the NAIA here in the Valley. And Benedictine University had a really nice report on women's basketball out there. So Nick, great job. Thank you for submitting that content and to point a little spotlight on Ben U out in Mesa. So great little school out there. That's athletic program is really making a splash. Connor, man, we are, you know what? We're flying right through today. We're already, 2/3 of the way through the show. When we come back from the break, we're going to be joined by my old friend Dylan Weinmiller for It's Dylan. It's a weekly segment. You know, we do everything here. We're willing to try anything. And this little segment here actually was born out of me and a friend from the neighborhood years back, we trash talk constantly. And there's a few guys that I trash talk with, but Dylan in particular, and a friend of ours that's a realtor up in Oregon, Chris Scott out at Remax, called us up and said, I want to sponsor a segment of you guys just trash talking each other. So Dylan will tell you that he's a victim. He's not a victim. He's like 6'3", 395 pounds, and just the ugliest man you've ever met. But he's not he's not a victim. But we'll hear from Dylan when we come back from the break. Not that there's anything wrong with that, being that size and having an appearance where you can't really go out in public. Anyway. Vincent Connor will be back with It's Dylan right after the break.
Check out KDUS AM 1060 on 100.7 KSLX HD2. That's right, HD radio on 100.7 channel number 2.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to present the Thursday and Saturday night high school football games of the week. Tune in this fall for exciting high school football action. You'll enjoy seeing all of your favorite schools battling it out all season long. Coaches, administrators, boosters, and fans, partner up with the Varsity team to broadcast your games this fall. Choose from Thursday or Saturday night and have an exclusive audience on a big stage. Call or text us at 480-797-9437 right away and join our team. High school football action on Thursdays and Saturday nights this fall, brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show. This fall, the Varsity Sports Show is proud to present the Arizona High School Volleyball Game of the Week. Join us this fall when you'll catch your favorite teams going head-to-head in fast-paced volleyball action. Coaches, administrators, boosters, and fans, partner up with the Varsity team to broadcast your games this fall. Call or text us at 480-797-9437 right away and join our team. High school volleyball action this fall, brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show. Chris Scott of Remax is Central Oregon's best realtor for anyone thinking of a vacation home or relocation. He's our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, It's Dylan.
Janika from Salem, Oregon, and we love tuning in to It's Dylan on the Varsity Sports Show.
HD radio is here for KDUS AM 1060. Check out your favorite shows and games on 100.7 KSLX HD2.
Welcome to Dylan. He's out and about looking for fun. He's Dylan. Brought to you by Chris Scott of Remax Key Properties in Bend, Oregon, where it's living at its best. 541-999-5614. And now, it's Dylan.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, and broadcast all over the world on our live stream link as well. Joined on the line by our good friend, acquaintance, Dylan Weinmiller. Dylan!
Yay, good morning.
Did you like my setup at the end of the last segment? Did you happen to hear it?
Yeah, but I did not, actually.
Oh, okay.
But I couldn't stop thinking about being 6'3", 395, and just imagining what my combine scores would have been.
Yeah, except it was no muscle.
We're sitting on the chair here.
But no muscle. No muscle.
Oh,
that's the
man,
thing, and a lot of and just no neck and no muscle. So anyway,
you keep bullying me like this. You're gonna end up having protesters outside the studio, maybe 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
If I can fly them down from Oregon.
Yeah. So we started. We put this segment together. Actually, when I say we, I mean I. I put this segment together. Tried to come up with some ideas. You were absolutely no help in this process, so I had to get creative and come up with something to try and make you look good. For literally, It's a challenge, literally and figuratively, to try to make you look good. Certain things that you just can't improve upon, but what's that old saying? Putting lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Dylan, we came up with this segment. You were going to talk about things going on in the community. You love to travel. You love to be out there, out and about. You love animals. You have dogs, cats. They're part of your family, and you love food. Obviously. So what's going on today?
Today, let's see. Well, this morning we got up early like we normally do on a Saturday.
Yeah,
Loki wakes me
what
up
is that,
bright
like
and early.
10 o'clock?
Yeah.
What's considered early? Yeah.
Well, 5:30 this morning, but we
Wow.
didn't actually move or do anything until about 8. But we head over to our dog park, and sure enough, Loki's entire day is thrown off because they have some festival going on. So we got to drive down, went over to Hans Park, and of course, there's construction all over the place at the park. So his routine's completely thrown off today, which then throws my routine off. And now we gotta look for something else to do. But of course, it's going to be too hot for him. He's a senior citizen. He can't do much after it hits 90 degrees or maybe even 80. He's getting so old. But
so Loki is he's a 14-year-old mini pincher, right?
Yeah.
Does he still attract the ladies to you like he did when he was younger?
You know what? His attraction that he used to bring would go away because he would mark his territory, if that's a nice way of saying.
Okay.
There would be the ladies at the park, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, Loki's making his mark on their yoga pants, and
no, it's not
things
good.
like that. So he chased them off. If anything, he gets jealous. Maybe, I'm not sure.
So I'm joined in studio. He's shaking his head. One of our top broadcasters here, Connor Bonfilio, and Connor, you are getting to know guys that I grew up with, unfortunately, and in the neighborhood, and Dylan and this guy. When I was a kid, this guy, I got picked on to no end, and so I'm kind of giving it back to him now.
Clearly not enough.
Well,
Not enough. I didn't do a very good job.
Yeah.
Connor, if you can you reach over and just smack that most smackable face that Vince carries on his head?
Dylan, my grade hangs in the balance of his hand, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to refrain from doing that.
Oh, whatever.
Hey, that reminds me. Get me a media pass. I want to go around and get access to the cool stuff and see what kind of career move I can make.
Well, you have
I
a
don't know
segment.
if I'd even
Isn't that
interview
enough?
anybody.
You have your own segment.
I haven't received a check yet. So
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, keep watching. It's on the way. But okay. So tell us about this week. So this week you had some adventures with our friends the Oregonians.
Yeah, I took a second week off of spring break. That usually is frowned upon.
And by
but
the
at
way,
this
and I
point,
apologize for interrupting. Actually, I don't apologize for interrupting you. But for people that don't know you, you actually you've got a real job. You're a school teacher. You coached for many years. You're a football coach. You've inspired young lives.
I don't know about that. But,
and yeah, I mean, you were a head football coach. You were a longtime defensive coordinator, assistant. You tried your hand, I think, briefly in coaching a little bit of girls soccer. That didn't quite pan out the way you had hoped. But anyway, so that being said, you had spring break was this past week or the week before, but you took a couple days off this week because we had some friends in town from Oregon. Go ahead. The floor is yours. I think are you there? Oh, okay. Go.
Yeah. I'm getting to have the Oregonians down this week.
Yeah. Okay. So how did that go? Did something happen when they were in town? Dylan, are you there? Oh, there you are.
Just connections. Fun laugh.
Oh boy.
Hey. Late nights.
Hey, Dylan, I'm going to ask you to call in. Give us a call, and that way we can finish your story. But anyway, Connor, I'm sure you have friends like that you grew up with. You guys kind of rib each other a little bit.
100%. And my look was not a look of disgust or shame. It was, how can I scheme a radio show of my own to do this to them? This is just exactly what I want to do.
So, and you grew up in the Bay Area, literally in the shadow of Stanford University up there in the beautiful San Jose area, Palo Alto. But you had, and like you said, you had friends like that growing up. Were you on the receiving end of a lot of those insults, or were you on the giving end of that stuff?
Depends on what age we're talking. I think in the beginning I was definitely on the receiving end. If you can believe it, I used to be one of the shorter people.
Wow.
I always was. In elementary school specifically. And then about freshman year, I hit a huge growth spurt. I went from 5'7" to 6'1" in one year.
Wow.
It hurt. But then people stopped picking on me. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I turned it on them because, two wrongs don't make
well,
a right.
and you're a nice guy anyway,
Yeah,
so yeah.
I try. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the beginning, it was definitely on the receiving end for sure.
So Dylan, are you back on the line with us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So okay, so finish the story about the Oregonians.
Yeah, they came in for basically we've got a few birthdays in the next couple of months. Mine and Damien's are coming up. We're both turning 50.
Wow.
And so they came down to get the sunshine.
You're living that long, man. Okay.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Okay.
So yeah, gosh, we had so many good laughs, so many good meals, and just it's always great to catch
meals,
up
of
with
course.
everybody. And yeah, oh gosh, you get around the Oregonians and we eat.
Yeah.
So the diet and the exercise that I'd been on, we took a little break from that. Although we did incorporate a couple hikes. I took them out to the trails that I do.
I have to ask you a question. I was supposed to ask you this. Did you swallow one of your own teeth by accident because you were just so voraciously eating that you weren't paying attention?
I'm so happy you brought that up.
Yeah.
That was a traumatic experience because the absolute one thing you don't do when you have a mouthful of crowns like I do, is start chewing on milk duds. Okay. And I had a couple, and I was real careful, but then I gulped and realized that one of my teeth was gone. So, yeah, the funny thing, right as that's happening, a couple friends of the Ramirez family come in. I'd never met them, seen them, knew who they were, whatever. The guy gives me a big old, hey, what's up, brother, and smacks me right on my butt. Get in one of those stingers, right? Just one of those, and I'm looking at thinking, who is this dude?
Yeah.
I've never seen him before, and he gives me a big welcome smack on my booty.
Yeah.
And then the girl, as I'm actually cursing aloud to myself, like, how did I just do this? She did not know I ate a milk dud, but because teeth come out when you eat milk duds, she says, stay off the milk duds. She had no clue, but that was her advice to me. And
stay off the milk duds. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good advice for you.
So it turns out these two were local celebrities, right? They're, I don't know who they are because I don't watch a lot of TV and whatnot, and I definitely don't watch the news,
me.
But,
yeah.
And it turns out they're pretty much big time here in the local community and whatnot.
Yeah, like
but
myself.
It was just fun, man. It was just so much fun.
So, all right.
Having them in town and getting to see them and getting to just kind of share and talk and do all that kind of stuff. It's just always a blast. I can't wait to get up there this summer, beat the heat a little bit, and get to make the rounds and have a lot of fun on the water and just some adventures, being the dog. Who knows when it's Loki's last roadie? So we got to make the best of it coming up this summer.
We look forward to having you back. We'll circle back with you in a couple of weeks, and hopefully we get that connection straightened out. But it's Dylan, my old friend from the neighborhood, Dylan Weinmiller, and his adventures. Dylan.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'll have some good stories. We got some good plans coming up. So looking forward to it. You guys take care and have a great rest of your day.
All right. So we have a report from Aviana Hoppus on Westwood baseball coach and the program, the Warriors, J.R. Langston.
Do you like where your team is at, and what are your goals for the season?
Tough question. We always would like to be playing better. We had a rough week this week. Really, our goals are to win every week, and so this week we needed to be 2-1, and we went 1-2. I like how the boys train, and they work hard, and they really try to stay together. We have a good group of boys that do they love each other, and that's cool. Our goals, I think, are like other teams. We're trying to make the playoffs and then just see where that can lead to. So, I mean, everybody wants to be state champions. We figure we make it to the playoffs, and then we'll just go from there.
And speaking of like getting to the playoffs, do you have a team leader that's going to help you get there, or a certain player that other players rely on or look up towards?
You know, we have a group of, every year we have just kind of a leadership council, seniors that really, they're not really captains, but they're just kind of our senior leaders. And so Manny Morales, Nick Cortez, Evan Vandervalk, Gavin Letourneau, that's kind of our leadership group. And so they do a really good job of trying to hold each other accountable and really just leading us and just doing a good job communicating and all those different things that we need. And so this off season, we worked we read a book together, The Power of a Positive Team, and they're using some of those principles just to help lead and guide us along.
And do you have any commits on the team?
We do. Manny Morales is committed to Phoenix College. Evan Vandervalk is committed to South Mountain Community College, and we do have a transfer boy, and I don't know how much I'm allowed to really talk about him, because I don't know for sure if he's getting cleared, but he's committed to go to a local junior college as well. So we have those two. Nick Cortez is close. He has some different options. He's just trying to figure out what he would like to do.
All right. And then on the field, and whether it's hitting, pitching, defense, whatever, what would you say is the strength of the team?
Different game to game, but I think our pitching has been really strong this year. We've kind of let them down sometimes defensively, because a lot of the runs that we have given up have been unearned. But just been really happy with the development that Coach Soiling is doing with our pitchers. Nick Cortez is really he's our number one. He's our ace. But guys like Ben O'Hara Hayworth, Devin Begay, Cole Irwin, Jack Dale, these are guys that are giving us good innings. And so we're really happy with our pitching.
Ready to bring KDUS AM 1060 into your home with Alexa?
Hi, I'm Alexa.
Download the KDUS AM 1060 skill and enable. Then say, Alexa, open KDUS AM 1060.
This is where I start my day.
Hi, this is pro sport fisherman Ryan Kirkpatrick of Benton, Kentucky, and you're listening to the home of youth, high school, college, and you, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to present the Thursday and Saturday night high school football games of the week. Tune in this fall for exciting high school football action. You'll enjoy seeing all of your favorite schools battling it out all season long. Coaches, administrators, boosters, and fans, partner up with the Varsity team to broadcast your games this fall. Choose from Thursday or Saturday night and have an exclusive audience on a big stage. Call or text us at 480-797-9437 right away and join our team. High school football action on Thursdays and Saturday nights this fall, brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show.
Hello, everyone. I'm Griffin Greenberg, and I'm thrilled to join the Varsity Sports Show team. I will be covering something never covered before in the history of Varsity Sports Show, prep basketball. Arizona showcases some of the top high school prep basketball in the nation and has sent men's and women's hoopers to multiple top-tier colleges and even professional leagues. Join me on the ride as I take a deep dive into the scenes of some of the top competition in high school hoops in Arizona.
Need social information about KDUS AM 1060? Try KDUS1060.com, at KDUS AM 1060 on Twitter, and Facebook.com/KDUS AM 1060.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince DeLisio joined in studio by broadcaster extraordinaire Connor Bonfilio. Quite a show. You know, a lot of fun. We went to we had some very insightful segments. We wrapped the last segment with a little bit of poking fun at an old friend of mine, and you know, it's kind of cool when you can actually get a segment sponsor where you just make fun of somebody. So that's pretty neat. Anyway, but we're going to shift focus now. We're going to be joined on, and of course, it's all in good fun, guys. We don't take anything seriously here when it comes to stuff like that. We're not bullies. I'm not a bully. We have a lot of fun. It's guys from the neighborhood type of stuff. So, anyway, joined on the line by a young man that we actually got a bird's eye view of this past season, both on the football field and on the diamond. Thomas DeCesaro, he is a senior out at Saguaro High School, and he has been nothing short of amazing throughout his athletic career. He's quite a student as well, was recently honored National Football Foundation Scholar Athlete of the Year for them. And Tommy, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Hey, congratulations on all the success that you're having. I can imagine the trophy case at home is busting at the seams. What's going on? You got any you got any extras you can throw my way?
No, I'm kind of a selfish when it comes to that stuff. I only play to win. So unfortunately, I can't give you any.
Okay, well, that's all right. I mean, you've had quite a career. You continue to. I mean, you're obviously still playing baseball out there. You're a senior, but talk to us. Let's talk about football. So, football season, you guys did some incredible things. Obviously, last year your season was cut short. You were in line to be part of the Open for the postseason in football in 2020. You come back in 2021 and really turn some heads and beat two top-ranked teams, two nationally ranked teams in back-to-back weeks in the postseason on your way to winning an Open Division championship. Summarize that feeling. What was it like playing for the SaberCats in that defensive backfield?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. We had a tight-knit group this year. Last year we didn't get the opportunity to play in the Open, and that provided a chip on our shoulder. Everyone counted us out, which, honestly, it's a lot of fun when people aren't expecting anything because you don't have that added pressure. So we just got to go out there and have fun, play loose. We had each other's back, and at the end of the day, who cares what other people think? We knew what we had in the locker room, and each week we just went out and showed what we had, and we weren't very surprised with the outcome. I mean, it was a great outcome, but that's kind of what we expected.
Mr. DeCesaro, this is Connor Bonfilio. How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good, man. So I got a question. I want to know what's more difficult, grueling practices of football and baseball. I know it's not the same season, but going through a whole year of grueling practices and games for both sports, or maintaining a 4.6 GPA.
Holy smokes, 4.6.
What's harder? I got to know.
Probably football and baseball practice, because during the day my school has my focus, but when I get out here, running, a lot of running, body gets tired, it's getting hot, so probably definitely practice gets to me a little bit. Those conditioning periods after just individual work really gets tiring, so definitely the physical aspect. School luckily comes a little easier, but definitely practice.
Thomas, you have a favorite subject?
Math. Yeah.
Man.
Hey, you're talking to the wrong guy.
I'm talking
to a
times
journalist,
two
man.
on that. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Man. So all right. So let's talk about. I want to ask you. Okay. About the coaches you played for. Obviously, you played for an incredible football coach in Jason Mons. You play for an incredible baseball coach in Joe Mickey. Tell us a little bit about each of them and their approach to the game and how they're similar and how they're different.
I mean, two extremely competitive coaches. Just the knowledge that Coach Mons has of the game, the way he breaks it down, the way he sets it up for us. Honestly, that's why we had a bunch of success for the amount of time him and the coaching staff would put in, just for us to learn the game. Even if we were playing defense, we'd still go to offensive film to understand, hey, if you're showing something as a defense, this is how it's perceived as the offense. So, the way he dissected the game and taught it, really helpful. And, Coach Mickey, one of my favorite coaches to play for ever, because, the way, he loves the stuff on the field, but, off the field, he really wants us to develop as young men, in the classroom and everything else. I mean, Coach Mons wants the same thing, but, that's something I've, heard men of character since freshman year. There's not too many differences between those two. Very competitive people, kind of win at all costs. Not at all costs, but, not very, hate losing more than they love winning, which is something I love playing for. And, they just want the best. They don't care who goes out there as long as the best product on the field, which, I love playing for. So,
Thomas, I got a two-part question for you here. So, first, I want to know which sport you like more, football or baseball. And do you have any college offers in either one? I know you're a senior, so you're heading off to college soon.
It's whatever I'm in season. Honestly, I wish I was 6'6" and could play basketball because I think I'm a pretty good hooper. But I do have offers for football. I'm actually looking to decide soon. I have a couple. I have some PWOs from Iowa State, Colorado State, and I have an offer from Drake, Lake Forest, and numerous other schools. Baseball recruiting is a lot different than football, so I'm starting to receive interest from some California schools like USD and University of California, San Diego, and some other schools down south. But right now, just, finding the best fit for me.
You think you could end up possibly playing both in college, baseball and football?
No, the schools I've talked to that have been interested for both, I just think that's too much, kind of want to see what I can do when I just focused on one. Be nice. So, no, schools have reached out, they're like, yeah, you love it, but at the same time, I want to see what else is out there for me.
All right. Thomas DeCesaro, scholar athlete, Saguaro High School, and that's the way it should be, and multi-sport athlete as well. And so, Thomas, congratulations on all the success and a very bright future to come. Looking forward to continuing to cover you guys in baseball and see how the rest of the season plays out. So, congrats, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, perfect. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
I'm Griffin Greenberg, the prep basketball reporter for Varsity Sports Show, and today I sat down with class of 2022 guard and forward Makai Mason. Makai is currently at AZ Compass and will be playing basketball at Rice next year. Enjoy the interview as we talk about his high school experience at Compass and even before coming over to the prep school scene.
Makai, where were you before AZ Compass, and how did you perform there?
I was at the school right down the street from here, actually. It's Chandler High School. I performed pretty well over there. I mean, averaging like 15 points, like 5 assists, 3 rebounds, like as a sophomore. So I've been over here for 2 years. So I mainly got my looks and interest and stuff from AAU. So it just kind of carried over to the high school season at Chandler.
And then why AZ Compass?
I have a relationship with Coach Gibson. I mean, he coached over at Chandler, and so my dad met him. So they just kind of just talked about it, the idea of it, so I decided my junior year, talking to Coach P and Coach Gibson about it, that it would be just a good situation, so I came over.
When exactly did you commit to Rice? I know it was pretty early, right?
Yeah, I think it was the end of my sophomore year and beginning of my junior, so yeah, it was kind of early.
And what were your other offers?
At that time, it was North Carolina A&T, GCU, and then I had interest from other schools, but those are my main offers.
Why'd you commit so early? Like, what stood out about Rice, and like, how did that kind of all work out?
I mean, it was a COVID year too, so there was so much unknown, so we just wanted to be safe, but it was still all around a good situation, and just the coaches there too. I got a relationship with that coach too, actually. He coached James Harden. My dad, knows him, so I mean, that was kind of a factor in that too, but just the environment just felt like it was right for me.
How do you look at rankings as a player? I mean, when you commit so early, I feel like some players are kind of locked in and also kind of go in cruise control sometimes, but obviously, you didn't coming over to Compass and performing like you have. Like, how did you kind of look at that aspect?
I mean, I know regardless, I'm going to have to earn my spot and wherever I go, so I mean, coming over to Compass, I knew I would just develop and become a better player. So I knew to work hard, work on my game, and eventually it'll just pay off and it'll show on the court. I feel like Arizona's getting way more attention than it used to, just from Ty last year and just Nico Mannion, just Arizona guys just coming on to the national scene is giving Arizona a little bit more attention.
How was kind of that transition from, Chandler to AZ Compass?
It was a big level change. I mean, going from going from a shot clock was kind of a bit of a change, and then just the speed and the physicality was a little bit different. I mean, don't get me wrong, AIA basketball is good, but it's just another level. Just the speed, just the talented players, and just overall, just the flow of the game is just different.
All right, guys, that was a great report on AZ Compass and our prep beat writer for the Canyon Athletic Association, Griffin Greenberg. Griff, nice job on that. When we come back from the break, folks, we're here at just about the end of the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be joined by our old friend Mike Beal with the Beachin' with Beal Southern California Surf Report. He promised me today, so he was in Phoenix 2 weeks ago. He didn't tell me he was here. Go figure. But he actually promised me he would be at the beach this morning and would provide a valid, truthful beach report. We'll see what happens with that. But thank you again for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show. Vincent Connor in studio. Thanks again, and we will be right back after the break. Go Varsity.
Your caddy, Ray Adams, takes you beyond the 18th hole on Saturday mornings with Great American Golf from 6 to 7 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675.
Hi, my name is Geraldine Torellis, and I'm with the Varsity Sports Show. I am currently a graduate student at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at Arizona State University, and I will be hosting the Spring Spotlight Series. As someone who grew up here in Arizona, I am very excited to cover stories on local nonprofit organizations and charities that are doing great work throughout the Valley. Join me this spring to see what fellow Arizona residents are doing to better serve our community and help others.
This fall, the Varsity Sports Show is proud to present the Arizona High School Volleyball Game of the Week. Join us this fall when you'll catch your favorite teams going head-to-head in fast-paced volleyball action. Coaches, administrators, boosters, and fans, partner up with the varsity team to broadcast your games this fall. Call or text us at 480-797-9437 right away and join our team. High school volleyball action this fall, brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show.
Hi, this is Rob Maggs, Vince's life coach and surfing coach to the Beach Bum Beal. You're listening live to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS.
Easy Sports Talk with former NFL and MLB player Ed Smith and co-host Javon Adams airs Saturday mornings 10 to noon on KDUS AM 1060.
And now it's time for Beachin' with Beal. Random thoughts from a real Orange County, California surfer guy, Mike Beal. The opinions expressed during this segment in no way represent those of KDUS AM 1060 Arizona, the Varsity Sports Show, its host, or its listeners.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, in our final segment of the morning. And we wrap up with an old friend, Mike Beal, with the Beachin' with Beal Southern California Surfing Report. Mike, when you were on with us 2 weeks ago, you had actually made a surprise visit to Phoenix. You didn't tell me you were here, which doesn't surprise me. But now I kind of hear waves crashing in the background. Where exactly are you today? Or is that your
Vince, I
bathtub?
decided to. Yeah, it's actually my kitchen sink. No, I decided to change it up a little bit, and I came this morning with my wife to one of my favorite all-time places in Newport Beach. It's a top secret surf spot called Secrets.
Wow.
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and I went to bed last night dreaming about, like
how you were going to get to talk to me today, or yeah?
Nah, I wasn't thinking about you. I was thinking about the waves. I thought it'd be perfect, light offshore, head high, lefts, rights, but
yeah.
Instead, I get here this morning and it's small, cold, and gray, sort of like your hair, heart, and stature. It's just the polar opposite of what I was hoping for
I
our
was
listeners
waiting
today.
to hear when you were going to get started with those. I missed that. I just missed the insults. And I guess you should know I'm joined in studio today by one of our amazing broadcasters, Connor Bonfilio. So Connor, you've met Mike before from the last time you co-hosted. Have you been to Southern California, Connor?
I have several times. How you doing, Mike? Last time we talked, you were in Belize.
Yeah, Connor, let me ask you, I was in the studio like a month ago, and I couldn't help but notice Vince's strange attire. Is he wearing his rock climbing shoes today in the studio, along with his 501 Levi's from 1985?
It's an
interesting
outfit for sure. I told Dylan, the previous guest, my grade hangs in the balance, so we're gonna be friendly and kind, and he's looking great this Saturday morning.
Listen to him.
It's a great outfit.
Okay. Yes, I am wearing those shoes. Yes. So anyway,
Connor, if you can find some sand somewhere in the studio, I will guarantee you an A+ if you push Vince on the ground and kick it in his face.
Thanks.
Okay.
Like the old days, right?
Will do.
All right. So getting back to the Southern California Surf Report, because people tune in specifically to hear you talk about the beach. Give us kind of a visual here.
Secrets is a kind of an isolated spot on the south side of the pier, so there's not a lot of action this morning. There's a few kids in the water, but there's just not a lot of waves. It's very different than I remember. I don't know, about 25 years ago, you came out to Newport and stayed with me. I think at the time you were a door-to-door traveling salesman, and I think your product was either vacuums or Bibles. I can't quite recall, but I remember that day when you came over, you were like, yeah, Mike, let's go surfing, it'll be so much fun. And I'm like, sure, Vince. This is out on the west side of Newport over by the river. So I remember us paddling out together. I remember catching a few waves, and then I remember you not making it out. It was a little
because those jellyfish scare me. You saw what happened to poor Steve Irwin. I mean, he got stung by one of those things, didn't he? Or no?
That was a stingray.
Oh,
man.
stingray. Okay, stay safe. Thanks. Stingray, jellyfish.
Come on now.
Yeah, you don't know what's in there. We're in their element. I want them to be in our element on land, and I just being out there. And then those dolphins look like sharks.
You are exactly right, Vince.
Yeah.
They don't look like SeaWorld. I mean, they're frightening. They have like hooks hanging off of them. The dorsal fin's all messed up, and they're the size of a car.
Yeah.
I mean, if they hit you, you're a goner. I know they don't eat humans, but they sure look like they could.
Man. So that was a traumatic day. And granted, the water was it was knee deep, but one of those undertows came and just swept me under. I mean, it was.
That's right. You got caught in the rip.
Yeah.
It's a common occurrence.
Yeah.
It sure is.
It scared me. I wanted to pack up and go home.
I think you Mike, actually did after you got done crying on the beach.
Mike, where I'm from in Northern California, they have the Mavericks tournament all the time. I'm sure you are familiar with that.
Yes, I am. I would never paddle out there myself, but I have been there and checked it out. It looks like it breaks about a mile offshore. People die there. It's gnarly.
Yeah, that doesn't appeal to me. Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
But speaking of things that might appeal to you, Vince, I know it's spring break time, and I was curious, this year, are you going to go to either Gila Bend, Ajo, Or are you going to trip the light fantastic at Lake Havasu this year?
Well, the budget is a little thin, so we're probably going to just hang out in beautiful, carefree Arizona. So
you could always maybe ride your bike to Maricopa. I hear that's a booming
it is
city nowadays.
It is. It's an amazing, and we have listeners in Maricopa, by the way, so it is an amazing city. But thank you for listening. So, Mike, the weather. So what's the temperature out there today?
It's actually cold. I'm not sure. It's in the 60s, but I'm actually it's very nippy right now. The weather has been really odd out here for the last couple of years, actually. Traditionally, March and April, it's stormy, it's super windy. The surf's not very good because of the weather conditions. However, this year and last year, it's been very odd. Like, earlier this week, it got up to 85. I thought I was in Phoenix maybe in May or maybe now. I'm not sure. I think Phoenix is warm right now, but it's the weather has been very strange. The bad part about the weather here is I can't remember the last time it rained. It's been years. I mean, it's sprinkled a few times, but it used to rain all the time in February, March, April. Nowadays, it just hasn't been raining too much.
So when we're done with this report, what are you going to do next? Are you going to just jump in the car and go home because you did the report, or are you actually going to go out and surf, or what's going on?
Well, my wife and I have kind of an exciting day planned ahead for us. She's going to get her nails done and maybe get her hair, but we're also going to go to our local Costco later. And do some shopping in Irvine. And I was listening to Dylan's segment earlier. Yeah. And I wanted to tell him, and all the listeners really, that Costco over the last couple of years has been selling imitation meat. Yeah. A wide variety of it. And I wanted to tell Dylan at his barbecue in Oregon that he should try Impossible Burgers. It's been my experience that of all the fake meat out there, Impossible Burger is the best. Yeah. And I think that Beyond Burger is the worst.
Oh, and what is the Beyond Burger?
It's just a fake meat. I think it's Impossible and Beyond are the ones that fast food places use, like your favorite McDonald's, Burger King. Yeah. All those great ones that you love and eat out every day.
All right, so Mr. Beachin with Beal, Mike Beal, Southern California Surf Report. Anybody you want to give any special shout-outs to out there?
I do. I want to give a shout out to our number one fan, Rob Maggs. I heard the promo while I was listening to the show, and it's fantastic. It warms my heart every time I hear that little guy give us a shout out on the radio.
Okay. It's guys we grew up with, Connor. What can you do? So anyway, all right. Well, Mike, thank you very much. We'll circle back with you in a couple of weeks. Mike Beal, my old high school friend and teammate, and just an all-around good guy and surfer guy, offering his keen insight on anything and everything Southern California surfing. So, Mike, good talking to you.
Thank you, Vincent Connor. It was a pleasure.
Okay.
Take care.
All right, folks. Well, wow. Another amazing show. I don't know if it was amazing, but there was a lot of insight. We had some great segments, some good stuff, good reporting today. We had a little bit of fun. Another successful day, I think. So, Connor, your observations from this morning.
It seems to fly by every time. I think every time we get in the studio, originally, excuse me, when we used to do just the 1 hour segment. Yeah. Even then, we had lots of programming and content, and it just flies by. And I sat down at 8 a.m., 7:45, thinking, man, this is gonna be a long one. Yeah. And it really isn't. It just it breezes by, and it's a real pleasure to do.
So give us a prediction on the NC2A tournament. Who's gonna take it?
Oh, geez. So everyone's saying Coach K retirement tour. Yeah. And they've continued to look impressive. I don't want them to win, but I mean, they're looking really good. So I'm thinking Duke. I also think Villanova has a really good chance. So
Villanova, okay, Villanova, Duke. All right, awesome. Connor Bonfilio, thank you so much, and good luck the rest of the way. Bright future ahead, my friend. You're just doing some amazing things, and we're privileged to have you part of this journey. So thank you again, Connor, for coming in. Folks, on behalf of all of our guests this morning, thank you so much to all of our amazing guests. I'm going to go right down the list and thank them all. Tyler Mayer with the Weekly Wellness. Coach Joe Mickey, Saguaro Sabercats. We did our recruiting spotlight. Coach Ryan Dyer, Desert Mountain Baseball. Isaiah Houston, who could not call in. He was in special teams meeting. He had an abdominal strain last week, but he's going to be cleared to start this week, Monday night. Watch those Arizona Rattlers. Look for number 18. Get that number 18 jersey. And Dylan, it's Dylan Weinmiller. Thomas DeCesaro, Saguaro High School senior, multi-sport athlete, scholar athlete. 4.6 GPA, my gosh. Beachin' with Beal, Southern California, Surfing Report. Folks, on behalf of our amazing crew, Aaron Decker behind the glass, Easy Ed and Javon up next, doing a remote out at Blue Buddha Collective in Scottsdale, 10 to 12. Listen in. We'll talk to you next week. I'll be out at a car show in Carefree next week doing a remote. Carefree Wheels and Wings. Vince out. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating a platform to promote young people in extracurricular activities and community outreach. If you are interested in partnering up with the Varsity Sports Show, find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or call or text us at 480-779-9437. The Varsity Sports Show, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Job. And that's not even counting your job. You deserve a healthcare provider who understands where you're coming from and where you have to be next. At Banner Health, we work with you to deliver the care you need, when and where it's